Legendary and Hall of Fame coach Geno Auriemma in his 41st year has his team at 38-0. Of course, they went 20-0 in the Big East to win the regular season and tournament championships. They've got 12 national championships. This is their 25th Final Four appearance. At one guard, wearing number 2 is K.K. Arnold, 5'9" junior from Germantown, Wisconsin, out of Germantown High School. Former 3-time Wisconsin Player of the Year, which is McDonald's High School All-American, earned first team All Big East honors, was named to the All-Defensive team this year. 7.1 points, 2.2 rebounds, 4.6 assists, ranks third in the Big East, also third in the Big East with 2.8 steals per contest. Again, this is a UConn team that led the Big East with nearly 16 steals per game. They can turn you over. Another guard, number 12, is Ashlyn Shade, the 5'10" junior from Noblesville, Indiana, at La Lumiere High School. She was the Indiana Gatorade High School Player of the Year and McDonald's High School All-American. Honorable mention All Big East selection this year, was the Big East Freshman of the Year a couple of years ago. 7.6 points, 3.5 rebounds per contest this year. Another guard, number 35, A.Z. Fudd, 5'11" graduate student from Arlington, Virginia, out of St. John's College High School, where she's a McDonald's High School All-American, was the nation's #1 high school recruit that year. Earned first-team All-American honors this year, first-team All-Big East for the second time, was the Scholar Athlete of the Year as well in the Big East. She was the most outstanding player of last year's Final Four. Third in the Big East in scoring with 17.5 points per game, 2.6 rebounds. She can also do it on the defensive end. She's fourth in the Big East with 2.5 steals per contest. Leads the Big East in three-point shooting at 46% and has hit 115 three-pointers on the season. Had 24 points against the Gamecocks in last year's national championship. And a forward, number 22, Sarah Williams, 6'4" senior from Brooklyn, New York, at her first season at UConn after 3 great years at Wisconsin, where she was a first-team All-Big Ten selection last year, named to the All-Defensive team. A smaller role this year, but obviously very good. 6.8 points, 4.4 rebounds, was fourth in the Big East in block shots, has 36 career double-doubles, and has scored more than 1,700 career points. And this year, obviously, in more of a secondary role for the Huskies. And of course, in the middle, number 21, Sarah Strong. 6'2" sophomore from Durham, North Carolina, at a Grace Christian school, where she was the #1 recruit and McDonald's High School All-American a couple of years ago. First-team All-American this year, Big East Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year. Was their tournament most outstanding player as well. Was the Drysdale National Player of the Year this year as well, after earning National Freshman of the Year honors last year. Second in the Big East in scoring with 18.6 points per game, 7.6 rebounds per contest. And does a little bit of everything. Led the Big East in field goal percentage. She also shoots 40% from three-point range. Has hit 59 threes on the season, averaging just under 4 assists per game, and is second in block shots as well. Had 24 points, 15 rebounds against the Gamecocks in last year's national championship game. The Huskies, since they are the #1 overall seed, wearing their home white uniforms, blue numbers, blue and red trim down the side of the uniform. They'll be moving from left to right as we look at them. We are near the top of the bottom deck, just below the mezzanine level, but in the middle of the floor, so not a terrible view. Still a bit distant, but at least we're in the middle of the floor. Huskies will be moving from left to right here in the first half. For Coach John Staley's Gamecocks, coming in at 35-3 overall. Of course, SEC regular season champs at 15-1. It's the usual suspects. Point guard, number 25, Raven Johnson, the 5'8", fifth-year senior from Atlanta at Westlake High School, where she was a McDonald's High School All-American. Was the most outstanding player of the Sacramento Regional just earlier last week. Earned third-team All-America honors this year. Was the SEC Defensive Player of the Year, second-team All-SEC as well. 10.2 points, 4 rebounds, sixth in the SEC with 5.3 assists per contest. Another guard, 00, Tania Latson, 5'8" senior from Miami, in her first season with the Gamecocks after transferring from Florida State. Former McDonald's High School All-American, earned honorable mention All-American honors this year for the 4th time in her career. Also second-team All-SEC, 14.4 points, 2.7 rebounds, 3.7 assists per contest. Third guard in the lineup, number 5, Tessa Johnson, 6'1" junior from Albertville, Minnesota, out of St. Michael Albertville High School, where she was a McDonald's High School All-American, named second-team All-SEC this year. 12.9 points, 3.5 rebounds per contest. Just went over 1,000 points in her career after scoring 11 points in the fourth quarter in the win over TCU in the Elite Eight. At a forward, number 8 is Joyce Edwards, 6'3" sophomore from Camden, South Carolina, out of Camden High School, where she was a McDonald's High School All-American. Earned second-team All-America honors this year, first-team All-SEC for the second year in a row. Was fourth in the SEC in scoring, now averaging 19.7 points per game, 6.7 rebounds per contest. And in the middle, number 11, Medina Okot, 6'6" senior from Kenya, in her first season with the Gamecocks after 1 year at Mississippi State. earned second-team All-SEC honors this year. 13.2 points. He led the SEC in rebounding, 10.8 boards per contest, and was fifth in block shots. Gamecocks wearing their road black uniforms today. The white numbers, Carolina script across the front of the jersey. They'll be moving from right to left. Remind parents it's never too late or too early to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, because if you're not talking to them, someone else is. Get conversation starters at openconversationsc.com. Going to be a good crowd, going to be an exciting atmosphere as the Gamecocks take on the Connecticut Huskies here in the semifinals of the NCAA women's basketball tournament. The winner gets the winner of the late game here tonight between UCLA and Texas. Again, all four number one seeds have made it here to the Final Four, only the fifth time that's happened. UConn leads the series 11-5, including 2 wins over the Gamecocks last year, one in the regular season at Colonial Life Arena, and of course winning the national championship a year ago as well. Your officials for this evening's contest: Brenda Pentoa, Katie Lukanich, and Fatu Sissoko Stevens. Gamecocks and Huskies huddled around their respective benches. Again, we are behind the benches, kind of in the middle, but up near the top of the lower level. Let's see if the Gamecocks can find a way to get off to a good start and break this long victory streak by UConn. 54 straight wins, only one has been by single digits. And again, they do it on both ends of the floor. None of the opponents this year against Connecticut have scored 70 points or more, and UConn has been held to less than 70 points only once. Update on Gamecock softball, playing game 2 of their series at Tennessee. After losing last night, South Carolina leading the Lady Vols 3-0 in the bottom of the 4th inning. Carolina baseball playing Texas tonight, game 2 at Founders Park. Gamecocks won game 1 last night, Texas leading 1-0 in the 1st inning there. Gamecocks break their huddle. Again, Carolina will be moving right to left here to start the first half. Medina Okot will take to the jump circle, which will be opposed by Sarah Williams, the Wisconsin transfer. Waiting for TV to give us permission to play. Lead official to the jump circle. Let's light this candle. It's time for the Final Four in Phoenix. Ball is in the air. Tip is controlled by the Gamecocks, moving right to left. We're underway in the 2026 Final Four. Raven Johnson up top. Tessa Johnson, tight man-to-man coverage by Connecticut. Tonight Latson now top of the circle. Comes around a screen from Joyce Edwards to her right, trying to drive in the lane, floats it up and in, and the Gamecocks will strike first. Tanaya Latson with the bucket, and there's a good start for the Gamecocks, scoring on their first possession. Here come the Huskies the other way on their opening tilt. Strong passes left to Shade. Now back to Strong, right side. She wants 3. Back rimmed it no good. Sarah Williams with the rebound. Knocked out of her hands, out of bounds. It'll remain with Connecticut. Got to crash the boards. UConn's got some size in there, obviously, with Sarah Williams at 6'4". And she's very athletic, tough to box out. They'll bring it in baseline right side. Flood to do the honors. Gets it in the corner to Shade. Up top it comes now to KK Arnold. Dribbling to her right, guarded by Tanaya Latson. 12 on the shot clock. Fudd, right elbow jumper. Back rim no good. Rebound Medina Okot, and the Gamecocks have it. Outlet to Raven Johnson. Minute gone by. Carolina leads it 2-0. Raven across the timeline. Up top to Big Mama. Medina needs some help. Gets it back to Tanaya Latson. Latson puts it on the floor. Gets a screen from Medina. Comes around it to her right. Looking for a cutter. Hands it off to Raven. Up top, Joyce Edwards. Shot clock to 10. Now Raven around a screen, trying to create. Left side, Tessa Johnson. 5 to shoot it. Tessa trying to drive on the baseline. Cut off in the corner. Finds Okot. Long jumper to beat the buzzer. Can't bank it in, and that's a shot clock violation. Now, obviously not the shot we wanted from Big Mama from the left wing. Gamecocks got hemmed in defensively, a little too slow. And it'll be Connecticut basketball. Gamecocks lead at 2-0, 8:40 to play in the opening quarter. UConn on its second possession here. Gamecocks stay in the man-to-man. They run their weave up top. Shade passes right. Top of the circle it comes to Sarah Williams. Williams dribbling left, hands it off to Fudd, coming around the screen. Shot clock at 15. Raven has her defensively. Passes left to Shade. Shade pulls up from 18 straight away. No good. Rebound Tanaya Latson. She leaps for the rebound. Gamecocks have it. They want to run. Quickly head Tessa Johnson, far corner, drives the baseline, and had the ball ripped out of her hands, stolen away by Sarah Strong. Tried to do too much there. And here come the Huskies in transition. Bounce pass in the paint to Sarah Williams. Working against Big Mama. She'll put it up and in, and we're tied at 2 as Sarah Williams will start the scoring for the Huskies with 7:55 to play in the opening quarter. We're tied at 2. Gamecocks scored on their first possession, came up empty on their next 2. Bounce pass to the left to Joyce Edwards, guarded by Strong in the man-to-man. Hands it off to Tanai Latson. Latson, left elbow jumper, off the rim, no good. Tries to follow her shot. Oh, she was knocked to the floor by Sarah Strong. No foul called. It goes out of bounds off the Gamecocks, they say. Thought we might get a foul there as Latson was going in for the rebound and got bodied to the floor by Sarah Strong, but no whistle. 2-2 our score. Connecticut with the basketball. Chance to take their first lead. 7.5 minutes to play in the opening quarter. Bounce pass to the right to Strong. Back to the basket. Now squares up on Joyce Edwards. Looking for a cutter. Swings it left side to AZ Fudd. Fudd on the dribble. Bounce pass to the right. Back up to Fudd. Guarded by Edwards. Shot clock down to 10. Fudd on the dribble drive to the free throw line. Cut off there. Bounce pass inside. Wrap around inside to Williams. Puts up a shot and rolls it up and in to beat the buzzer. Sarah Williams has both of their buckets, and it's 4-2 Connecticut, their first lead with 7:05 to play in the opening quarter. Here's Tessa Johnson driving in the lane on Strong. Throws it up, no good. And rebound to the Huskies. That was kind of a wild prayer of a shot by Tessa. Kind of rushed it there. Here come the Huskies the other way. Strong spins into the paint. Little hook shot up and no good. Rebound Big Mama, and the Gamecocks have it. And then the ball stripped out of her hands. It's loose on the floor, and the Huskies come out of there with it. 3-ball by Fudd. In and out, no good. Raven skies for the rebound, and the Gamecocks avoid the damage there. Here's Latson left side. Thought about the three. She'll drive instead. Puts it off the backboard and in. And tonight Latson has all 4 points. We're tied at 4. The 2 players have scored both the buckets for both teams. 4-4, 6:25 to play in the opening quarter. Here come the Huskies. Williams up top, guarded by Medina Okot in the man-to-man. Gets it to Shade, dribbling top of the circle. Around a screen. Tessa trying to stay with her. She can't, and she'll get a layup. Tessa came around a screen awkwardly. Shade gets her first points, and the Gamecocks trail 6-4. Didn't read that screen well, or maybe it wasn't called out to her, and got caught up in the wash and allowed a layup. Here's Raven Johnson up top, dribbling to her right. 4 minutes gone by. Near side, Medina Okot. Doesn't pull the trigger on the 3. Hands it off to Nia Latson. She's knocked to the floor. Ball kicked around. It goes out of bounds. It'll be UConn ball. Boy, how is there not a foul there? They're just letting stuff go. There's been a lot of contact already. Latson was knocked to the floor for the second time. Another turnover gives it back. 4 turnovers already by South Carolina here in the first quarter. We played just over 4 minutes. 6-4 Huskies lead here. Letting them play right now. Arnold across the timeline for the Huskies, guarded by Tanai Latson. Gamecocks stay in the man-to-man. Bounce pass to the right to Strong. Ball poked free, but the Huskies recovered. Here's Arnold dribbling right on Latson. Cut off on the low block. Kicks it out. Shot clock down to 10. Sarah Strong feeds it inside. Ball knocked free, but they recover in the corner. Back up to Strong up top. She wants 3, and she buries it to beat the buzzer. Oh, that's a killer. Sarah Strong, their forward, 40% from three-point range. Hits her 60th three-pointer of the year, and the Gamecocks trail 9-4. Good defense there, and then Strong got a good look at a 3 to beat the buzzer. Gamecocks down 9-4 midway through the first quarter. Need a bucket here. Here's Medina Okot, left elbow. Big Mama's going to take a 15-footer. Off the rim, no good. Nobody crashing the boards. One shot and out. Gamecocks got to do better. Here comes Huskies quickly down the floor. Sarah Strong in the paint. 14-foot jumper is good, and the Gamecocks down here 11-4. It's a 7-0 run by the Huskies, and the Gamecocks don't want this to get away from them early. 4:35 to play in the opening quarter. Here's Tessa Johnson left wing, trying to create. Tessa drives the baseline, throws it up and in. Tessa Johnson drives the baseline and lays it up and in, and the Gamecocks back on the board. That makes it 11-6. Gamecocks trail here. 4:21 to play in the opening quarter. Baseline jumper for the Huskies won't go down for Strong. Gamecocks get the rebound, and they want to run. Quickly down the floor, Tessa Johnson driving in the lane, stops, pops, and drops it home for 2 more. And the Gamecocks back within 3. Back-to-back buckets for Tessa. It's 11-8. Gamecocks trail with 4 minutes to play in the quarter. Driving in the lane, they kick it out right side to Shade for 3, and she buries it. Ashlyn Shade hits her 48th three-pointer of the year, and it's 14-8. UConn leads their second three-pointer of the first quarter. Shade had a good look. One of the Huskies starters that you don't talk about as much because of the other All-Americans in the lineup, but she can shoot it as well. Her 48th three-pointer of the year. Gamecocks down 6, 3.5 minutes to play in the opening quarter. Tessa Johnson feeds it to Latson, driving into the lane. In the lane of Giants, puts it up, no good as it rolls off the rim. Ball lost out of bounds off the Huskies. It'll be Carolina ball when we come back. Hey, what does farm to table mean to you, Gamecock fans? Well, thanks to South Carolina farmers and chefs, you can enjoy locally grown food at any table, including tailgates. Visit CertifiedSC.com. It's a matter of taste. This women's basketball postseason radio broadcast is proudly presented by the South Carolina Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities. And you're listening to South Carolina women's basketball on the Gamecock Sports Network from Learsfield. Gamecocks in black, Huskies in white. A reminder, parents, it's never too late or too early to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. Because if you're not talking to them, someone else is. Get conversation starters at OpenConversationSC.com. Gamecocks have to take care of the basketball. 4 turnovers here in the first quarter, and that's something Connecticut does well, is turn opponents over. They average 16 steals per contest. They are very aggressive going after the basketball. Gamecocks break their huddle down below us. Again, we're near the top of the lower level, kind of the mezzanine level, but in the middle. Agat McKeer is checked in during the timeout. The freshman from Thunder Bay, Ontario, averaging 14.5 points in the NCAAA tournament. Also checking in, Miriam Dowda, the 6'4 senior from Bentonville, Arkansas, averaging 3 points, 3 rebounds. She joins Johnson and Edwards. Carolina ball will bring it in, baseline right side. Raven triggers it into Dowda, and we're back underway. Up top, Agat McKeer. Now to Raven, top of the circle. Raven trying to create, driving right side. At the free throw line, kicks it out to Edwards. 10 to shoot it. Left elbow jumper, no good. Took a hard carom off the rim. Rebound Connecticut. One shot now and again. Gamecocks not doing a good job on the offensive glass. Here comes UConn quickly down the floor. Feed it inside to Shade. Right of the lane. She'll throw it left side across to a cutter. And stepping on the baseline out of bounds was Bianca Quinones, the freshman from Ecuador, who's been outstanding in this NCAA tournament. She checked in during the break, averaging 11 points per game. She had 16 and 20 points, respectively, in the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 for the Huskies. She's been terrific. Gamecocks trail 13-8, under 3 minutes to play in the first quarter. Carolina moving right to left. Raven passes right to Joyce Edwards. Driving on Sarah Strong, puts it high off the glass, no good. Dowda with the offensive rebound, but she stepped on the baseline out of bounds. It'll go back to Connecticut. Well, we finally got an offensive rebound, but unfortunately came down out of bounds. Gamecocks have to do a better job on the glass on the offensive end to give yourself some second chances. Still 13-8, Connecticut with the lead and the basketball. 2:40 to play in the first. Bounce pass to the left to Sarah Strong, guarded by Edwards. Gamecocks in the tight man-to-man. Backdoor cut to Quinones. Jumper up, no good. And rebound caroms out to the Gamecocks. Carolina wanted a foul there as the ball was knocked out of the hands of Agat McKeer. Here's Tessa Johnson, right wing three. Back rimmed it, no good. Rebound Joyce Edwards in the corner. Tessa had a good look, couldn't knock it down. Joyce trying to create on Sarah Strong. Spins to her left, back to her right, puts it up and in. Big move over the All-American, and it's 13-10 as Joyce gets her first points. 2:07 to play in the first. Ball knocked away by Tessa Johnson. Tessa with the steal, but as she gathered the loose ball, she had stepped on the sideline out of bounds, so she won't get credit. AZ Fudd will come back in for Connecticut. She'll pick up Ashlyn Shade. UConn will keep the ball. No change of possession there. Huskies will bring it in along the far sideline. Sarah Strong to do the honors. 13-10 Connecticut. Some discussion at the scorer's table. Wasn't sure what that was all about. Now we're ready. Whistle away from the ball, and all of a sudden the shot clock went down to 15. It was at 28, now it's at 15, which it should have because it was a shot, correct? And went off the rim, so it went down from 20. Yeah, all right. Now we got it right. They triggered up top to Elalfi. Now right side to Quinones, guarded by Raven. Feed it to AZ Fudd, trying to drive the right side on Dowda. Goes all the way into the basket, kicks it back out to Elalfi. Drives in the lane, pull-up jumper from 10 feet is good. Jana Elalfi, the 6'5" redshirt sophomore from Egypt, gets her first bucket, and it's 15-10. UConn leads by 5. 1:40 to play in the opening quarter here. Joyce Edwards passes right to Agat McKeer. McKeer around a screen from Edwards. Tries to drive in the lane, floats it up, no good, but she's fouled and will go to the line. First foul on either team. It comes with 1:34 to play in the opening quarter, and that'll send the Gamecocks to the line for a pair. Agat McKeer's been so good in this NCAA tournament, averaging 14.5 points per game. And she'll try to get her first points here from the free throw line, where one of the few things these freshmen have struggled with is free throws this year, only 65%. Hits the first one, however. Makes it 15-11. Gamecocks trail. Second free throw, nothing but net. So much for the struggles. The Gamecocks within 3. It's 15-12. As we'll get Tania Latson back into the game, she'll pick up Joyce Edwards. So 4-guard lineup with Dowda as the big in there. So a lot of the 4-guard lineup against TCU. Kaylee Hempel will bring it up for the Huskies, a sophomore from Port Chester, New York, a transfer from Southern Cal. Driving in the lane, got away with a walk, kicks it out to Sarah Strong, who fell to her knees but did the curly kneel dribble from her knees. Picked up by Raven, ball knocked out of her hands, but UConn recovers again. Shot clock down to 12. Dribbling right is Heckel. Working on Latson, drives in the lane. Elbow jumper, no good. Rebound, Miriam Dowda, and the Gamecocks have it. Outlet to Raven Johnson. Raven quickly across the timeline. Feeds it to Tessa. Tessa drives into the lane, had the ball knocked out of her hands, out of bounds. Good play by Sarah Strong, who got beat off the dribble, but she still had the quick enough hands to knock that free and prevent a layup from Tessa Johnson. We're just under a minute to play here in the first quarter. Raven will bring it in baseline right side. Whistle away from the ball and going to get a foul on the Huskies. Going to put that on Bianca Quinones, her first and the team's second. Quinones out, as checking back in was Ashlyn Shade. Again, we'll bring it in baseline right side. Go up out to Tania Latson. Latson around the screen to her right, and they're going to get her for a travel. Didn't see that. So turnover there by the Gamecocks, an unforced one at that. UConn ball, they lead at 15-12, 56 seconds to play in the opening quarter here in Phoenix. Huskies bring it up, moving left to right. Gamecocks in the man-to-man. El Alfie dribbling to her right, or I'm sorry, that's Heckel. Guarded by Latson. Shot clock halfway down. Feed it down low to El Alfie. Looking for a cutter in the lane. Knocked away by Latson, and the Gamecocks come out of there with it. 35 seconds to play in the quarter. Tania Latson up top. Gamecocks down 3. Latson picks up the dribble, needs some help. So hand it off to Raven. Raven looks back for the play from Coach Staley. Shot clock already down to 13. Raven dribbling right side, hand off to Tessa. Shot clock under 10. Tessa trying to back her way in. Shot clock at 5 to Latson left side. Guarded by AZ Fudd, drives into the lane, puts it up, and no good. Off the back rim twice. Rebound ping-pongs around. Gamecocks come out of there with it. McKeer for 3 left side. Bang! And we're tied. Gotti with the 3. Her 15th of the year. And we're tied at 15 at the end of the first quarter. Agat McKeer off the carom on the offensive rebound, and we're all square after 10 minutes of play. Exciting first quarter here in Phoenix. Hey, Westwood One and the Varsity Network bring you the biggest moments of March all the way to Phoenix. For the hometown call you love, the place to stream your team's broadcast all postseason is the Varsity Network app. Download the free Varsity Network app today. This women's basketball post.
The NCAAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? The Final Four is presented by AT&T. Connecting changes everything. South Carolina and UConn tied at 15 after the first quarter of this Final Four matchup. Moments ago, Holly Rowe caught up with South Carolina head coach Dawn Staley.
Well, Coach, you told us earlier Agat McKeer would not be fazed by this big stage. What went through your mind when she just hit that big shot to end the quarter?
She's always ready. You know she's ready on the offensive end. If she's got an open shot, she's going to take it. I like her aggressiveness. She's got to keep doing that for as long as she's on the floor.
Your defense has stood out. Raven Johnson playing multiple positions. What stands out to you so far?
That's what Raven does. She's an elite defender. She's an elite winner. She's gonna make winning plays. So if we have to play her 1 through 5, Raven's up for the challenge.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Holly.
Update on Gamecock baseball. Top of the second inning at Founders Park. Number 2 Texas still leading South Carolina baseball 1-0 there at Founders Park. Gamecocks won game 1 of that series yesterday, 9-1. On the floor to start the second quarter for the Gamecocks, Johnson and Johnson, Latson, McKeer, and Edwards. So the small lineup out there again for Carolina. Saw a lot of that against TCU. Again, UConn ball moving left to right to start the second quarter here to try to break this 15-15 deadlock. Sarah Strong will bring it in across the way. And we're underway in quarter number 2. KK Arnold will bring it across, guarded by Latson in the man-to-man. Hand it off as they run their weave. Sarah Strong picks up the dribble, guarded by Raven. That's a heck of a tough assignment there for Raven Johnson. Up top it comes to Sarah Williams, the former All-Big Ten player at Wisconsin. Now AZ Fudd dribbling right, guarded by Agat McKeer. Shot clock down to 10. Picks up the dribble, passes right to Strong. Ball knocked loose by Raven Johnson, but Strong gathers it in the backcourt, and they're going to get Raven for a foul. She was fighting for the loose ball, and they got tangled up, and Strong went to the floor, and they say Strong had possession, which she did, so it led to a foul on Raven. First foul on Raven Johnson. Crowd didn't like it, but I can see why they blew that whistle. Well, the Gamecock crowd didn't like it, I'll say that. The UConn fans were delighted. KK Arnold across the timeline, guarded by Latson, picks up the dribble, passes to her right to Strong. Strong squares up to the basket, guarded by Raven Johnson, stabbing at the basketball. Passes to the left to Shade. Shot clock at 13, up top to Strong, back to Shade. Deep look at a three left side, back rimmed it no good. Rebound lost out of bounds off of the Huskies, Sarah Williams. It'll be Carolina ball. Gamecocks led only once tonight, 2-0. It's been tied a few times. Now a chance for the Gamecocks to try to reclaim the lead. Still tied at 15. Medina Okot checks back in. And Tessa Johnson comes out, so now we go big. Joyce Edwards will bring it up the floor as no one's guarding her. She'll get it across the timeline. We'll settle into the half court. Hands it off to Raven. Minute gone by here in the second quarter. Raven, tight man-to-man pressure from KK Arnold. Still just across the Final Four logo. Shot clock already halfway down. Raven dribbling to her left. Picks up the dribble, gives it off to Medina Okot. Shot clock under 10. Back to Raven. Raven spins, pulls up for three. Can't bank it in. Not a good look at the basket there by Raven. And a rebound to UConn. Here come the Huskies the other way in transition. Quickly ahead. AC Fudd drives into the lane. Kicks it up top. Sarah Strong wide open for three. Back rimmed it no good. Fight for the rebound. Fudd saves it. Oh, they're going to get Raven for a foul on that. You got to be kidding me. And that's two quick fouls on Raven Johnson. And Coach Staley not happy about it. And I don't blame her. Did not look like there was any possession there when Raven was just going after the loose ball. Oh my, Coach Dawn Staley is hot. Raven's going to have to come out. Maddie McDaniel will check in for the first time. The sophomore from Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Yeah, that's a tough call on Raven. Fudd had not quite gained control of it as she was hemmed in along the sideline. Now Geno upset about something. So two fouls on Raven. She has to come out. Up top, Sarah Williams. They work it left side to Shade. Back up top, AZ Fudd. Shot clock at 14. Comes around a screen to her left. Ball knocked away. Stolen away by Tanaya Latson. Latson will take it the length of the floor and lay it up and in. And the Gamecocks reclaim the lead 17-15. 6 points for Latson. The Gamecocks defense creates some offense. Gamecocks with just their second lead of the night. It comes 2 minutes into the second quarter. UConn with the basketball. Sarah Strong up top. It comes to Shade, guarded by McDaniel. Feeds it up top to Williams. Hands it off to AZ Fudd, top of the circle. Good look at a three, no good. Rebound to Nia Latson, and the Gamecocks have it. She wants to run. Latson driving into the center of the lane, floats it up. Shot was blocked. Gamecocks wanted a foul, not going to get it. Good defense, I suppose, by the Huskies to prevent the layup in transition. It'll remain with Carolina as it goes out of bounds. Still 17-15, Gamecocks in front. 7:47 to play in the second quarter. Bianca Quinones will check back in, the big freshman from Ecuador for Connecticut. Maddie McDaniel will bring it in, baseline right side. McDaniel slaps the ball to get things in motion. Got to hurry to avoid the five, gets it into Gotti in the corner. Gotti tries to drive, puts up an awkward shot, no good. Medina Okot with a rebound on the block. She'll kick it back out to Latson. We'll settle back into the half court. Kind of wish Medina would have gone up. Maybe could have drawn a foul on Sarah Strong. Shot clock down to 10. Here's Maddie McDaniel. Near side to Latson. Latson gets a screen from Joyce Edwards. Can't do much with it. Shot clock down to 5. Latson feeds it out to Edwards. Ball knocked out of her hand. Strong comes out of there with it. She'll race down the length of the floor. Going to be fouled by Maddie McDaniel. She'll have to get it from the free throw line. So Maddie McDaniel will pick up her first. Prevented the layup, but don't want another point guard to get in foul trouble with Raven Johnson already on the bench with 2. We'll get Tessa Johnson into the contest. She'll pick up Latson. So Sarah Strong will be at the line. First free throws of the night for Connecticut. Only had one set of free throws for the Gamecocks in the first quarter. Strong automatic from the line, 85% on the year. And she'll look to tie it up with a pair of makes here. The All-Americans missed the first one. That doesn't happen often. Strong second in the Big East in scoring, nearly 19 points per game. First team All-American this year as a sophomore. Second free throw, got that one to get the Huskies within one. It's 17-16. Carolina's lead is just one. 7:18 to play in the second quarter. Maddie McDaniel trying to stay out of the pressure in the backcourt. She'll get it across. Tight man-to-man pressure here by the Huskies. Gets a screen from Joyce. Can't do much with it. She's got to give it up. McDaniel trying to drive in the lane. A little hand check foul on KK Arnold. Maddie was a little bit out of control there, but got bailed out by the foul as Arnold picks up her first. First team foul on the Huskies this quarter. We'll bring it in baseline left side. McDaniel to do the honors. Got to hurry to avoid the 5 count. Gets it into Tessa. Tessa driving the baseline. Puts it high off the glass and in. Tessa Johnson with the bucket. And the Gamecocks lead 19-16. 6:55 to play in the second quarter. Driving layup left side for the Huskies. Won't go down. Rebound Medina Okot. And the Gamecocks have it. Outlet to Tessa. Tessa quickly down the floor. Backs up to the left wing. Feeds it down low to Joyce Edwards. Working in against Sarah Strong. Spins to her right. Hook shot up and in. Over the All-American. And the Gamecocks with their largest lead of 5 points. 21-16 our score. 6:30 to play in the second quarter. Fudd had the ball knocked out of her hands, but recovers in the backcourt after the tip by McKeer. Comes around a screen. Feeds it up top to Sarah Strong. Drives in lane. Ball knocked out of her hands. Out of bounds. Carolina ball. Gamecocks getting nasty with their defense. Forcing a turnover there, and the Gamecocks will have it, trying to build on a 5-point lead. Joyce Edwards will bring the ball up the floor. Hands it off to Maddie McDaniel. She'll get it across the Final Four logo. Gamecocks moving right to left. McDaniel around a screen, bumps but no foul. Tight man-to-man, comes to Tessa. Tessa driving into the lane, knocked to the floor, no whistle. UConn comes out of there with it on the turnover. They've got a break. Quickly down the floor, Quinones hands it off to Shade, drives in the lane. Oh, got away with a travel and lays it up and in. My goodness. And that ends that little run. Lead is cut to 3 at 21-18. Looked like she had picked up the pivot foot. Didn't get the call. Gamecocks lead is 3 as we approach the midpoint of the second quarter. Tessa Johnson trying to use a screen from Okot. Can't do anything with it. Tessa dribbling left across the top of the circle. Drives into the lane. Bumps, no foul. Puts it up, no good. Rebound Joyce Edwards. Spins, shoots, and doesn't score. Bounced 3 times on the rim and popped out. Goodness. Had what we wanted there. UConn with the rebound. Gamecocks lead is down to 3 after a couple of missed opportunities there. They are letting them play inside, that's for sure. Near side it comes Quinones. Up top it comes now Sarah Strong. Shot clock at 13. Guarded by Joyce Edwards. Hands it off to AZ Fudd. Fudd around a screen to her right on the dribble. Back up top Strong. She'll put it on the floor. Drives the center of the lane and rolls it up and in. The C parted for and the lead down to 1 at 21-20. Quickly down the floor, Tessa Johnson. Can't pull the trigger on the 3 from the right wing. Will settle into the half court. Midway through the second quarter here, just a 1-point lead for the Gamecocks. Maddie McDaniel comes to her left, off a screen. Shot clock at 15. Up top to Medina Okot. Big Mama wants some help. Puts it on the floor instead. Shot clock under 10. She'll try to drive into the lane on Sarah Strong. Had her shot blocked, but Joyce Edwards collects the rebound. Spins, shoots, doesn't score. Whole lot of contact, no foul. Now we'll get a whistle. It's going to be tied up, held ball possession to South Carolina. They are really letting them play underneath the ball, underneath the basket. Carolina ball when we come back. 4:28 to play in the second quarter. South Carolina leading Connecticut 21-20. Hey, the Gamecocks are the best when it comes to basketball, and Terminix is the best when it comes to pest control. Headquartered in South Carolina, Terminix has been trusted for 75 years to keep your homes and businesses pest-free. We couldn't have done it without fans like you, so thank you. Call 1-800-TERMINX to schedule your... Gamecocks not shooting it well, 9 out of 25 for just 36%. Connecticut 9 out of 21 for 43%. See if the Gamecocks can get it going here. Gamecocks in black, Connecticut in white. Second straight year these two teams have met in the Final Four. Of course, last year UConn beating the Gamecocks in the national championship game. Carolina ball will bring it in baseline left side. They got McKeer to bring it in for the Gamecocks. Gets it into Edwards in the near corner. We're back underway. Edwards started by Sarah Strong. One of the top recruits in the country going head-to-head here. Here's McKeer left side, tries to go baseline, floats it up, awkwardly off the rim, no good, and that just wasn't a good take there by McKeer. Here come the Huskies the other way. Strong behind the back dribble. Step back, pull-up jumper, won't go down from the free throw line, but the rebound, Karam Stewart. Her follow-up won't go down. Rebound, McKeer, and the Gamecocks have it. Still leading 21-20. Quickly down the floor, Joyce Edwards gets loose and lays it up and in. Joyce Edwards beat everyone down the floor. It's 23-20. 6 points for Joyce. 3:50 to play in the second quarter. Here come the Huskies. Right side with it, Quinones. Guarded up top. Now it's Sarah Strong. Looking for a backdoor cutter. Threw the ball away. Edwards pounces on it on the floor and comes up with the loose ball. Great play there by Joyce to pick up the loose ball. Gamecocks have it, leading by 3. 3.5 minutes to play in the second quarter. Here's Maddie McDaniel up top. Dribbling to her left. Passes left to Nia Latson. Latson guarded by El Alfie. Puts it on the floor, dribbling top of the circle, or rather that's Heckel. Dribbling to her left, Latson drives, stops, pops, and it won't drop. No black jerseys underneath as Sarah Strong collects another rebound for the Huskies. Gamecocks got to do a better job crashing the boards on the offensive glass. Here comes the Huskies the other way. Still 23-20, Carolina in front. They work it left side to El Alfie. Now to Fudd, feed it down low, inside ball knocked away, but they recover, and a layup up and in by Quinones. Looked like the Gamecocks were going to come up with another steal, but couldn't get their hands on it. The lead down to 1 at 23-22 with 2:50 to play in the second quarter. Across the timeline, Maddie McDaniel. Tight man-to-man coverage from KK Arnold. Passes left, Tessa Johnson. Tessa on the wing, trying to create, feeds it to Edwards. 15-foot jumper won't go down, follows her own shot. Stick back, rolls off the rim, no good. I'm not sure how she missed. From point-blank range, Joyce missed. A.Z. Fudd knocks the defender to the floor and pulls up for a jumper, and that'll give UConn the lead, 24-23. Not sure how that wasn't a foul, one way or the other. Fudd gave a forearm and knocked McKeer to the floor, and looked like Fudd getting the Michael Jordan treatment or the Caitlin Clark treatment that we saw in the national tournament a few years ago. Up top it comes, and Coach Staley's going to burn a timeout. 2:08 to play in the second quarter. South Carolina now trailing Connecticut 24-23. Hey parents, it's never too late or too early to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, because if you're not talking to them, someone else is. Hey, March is here in Westwood 1 and the Varsity Network have you covered all the way to Phoenix. Stream your hometown call and a whole lot more all postseason exclusively on the free Varsity Network app. Download it today. 2:08 to play in the second quarter here in Phoenix. Connecticut leading Carolina here 24-23 in the second quarter. Back and forth we go here. Gamecocks had a 5-point lead, only needed the Huskies go on a bit of a run to get back on top by 1. And again, they are letting them play. The last possession for Connecticut, A.Z. Fudd drove down into the center of the lane, kind of threw a forearm shiver to send McKeer flying, and she pulled up and hit the jumper. Thought there was going to be a foul one way or the other because there was certainly contact as McKeer went flying. But again, they're just letting them play tonight. We'll see how the Gamecocks respond here, trailing for the first time in a while. Sarah Strong leading the Huskies with 8 points. Ashlyn Shade with 6. 6 points apiece for Tania Latson, Tessa Johnson, and Joyce Edwards for the Gamecocks. On the floor for Carolina in their black uniforms, it's Tessa Johnson, Tania Latson, McKeer, Joyce Edwards, and Medina Okot. Again, Raven Johnson's been on the bench most of this quarter after picking up her second foul. The second one was highly questionable, especially considering what they've not called here tonight. Gamecocks will bring it in on the near sideline. We get it into Joyce Edwards, and we're underway. Edwards, top of the circle, shot clock down to 10. Had the ball stripped out of her hands. It's 3-on-1 the other way. They work it to Sarah Strong. Gamecocks able to get back offensively. Here's Fudd, left side. Was careless with the basketball that time by Joyce. Strong, 18-foot jumper left side, no good. Rebound to Tania Latson, and the Gamecocks have it. It's 2-on-3. Latson will wait for the numbers. Trying to work out of a double-team trap, and she is knocked to the floor, and they're going to call a held ball. And possession goes back to Connecticut. Gamecocks dribbled right into the teeth of that trap there. UConn ball, 1:44 to play in the half. Connecticut leads it 24-23. Heckel will bring it up for the Huskies. They run their weave up top. Shade passes to her left to Strong, who almost forgot she was out there. Puts it on the floor, comes around a screen to her right. Kick it out to Shade. Right corner three. Got it. Nope, it's a long two, they say, for Shade. Second time she's hit a long two, and the lead is up 26-23 for the Huskies. 1:20 to play in the second quarter. Gamecocks need a bucket here. It's a 6-0 run for Connecticut. Here's Joyce Edwards trying to back down Sarah Strong, left of the lane. Shot clock at 15. Joyce spins to her right, shoots, doesn't score. Rebound, Karen's out of bounds to the Huskies. God, we had Tina Okot underneath the basket. She couldn't grab the rebound, and the Gamecocks lose it out of bounds. Need a good stop here. Maddie McDaniel back in, Tania Latson out. Huskies on a 6-0 run to take a 3-point lead at 26-23. Final minute of the first half. Quickly across the timeline, they kick it out to Fudd, right wing. Sets herself up for three, right side, no good. Rebound, Maddie McDaniel, and the Gamecocks have it. McDaniel, 3-on-3 break, trying to drive in the lane. Bump, spins, goes up, and she's fouled, and will go to the line. Again, Maddie looked a little bit out of control there, but got bailed out by the foul. Heckel picks up the foul, her first. Only the second team foul on Connecticut. They have not blown a lot of whistles against either team here tonight. McDaniel at the line, looking for her first points. The sophomore, 72% on the year, but missed the first one short off the front rim. Trying to snap this 6-0 run. Gamecocks haven't scored in over 3 minutes, but now they do as Maddie McDaniel hits 1 out of 2 to get the Gamecocks within 2, 26-24. 45 seconds to play in the first half. UConn with the basketball, moving left to right. They run their weave up top, work it left side to Shade. Now top of the circle, it comes to El Alfie. El Alfie on the dribble. Hands it off to Fudd, trying to drive, kicks it out right side. Driving is Heckel, pulls up from the free throw line. No good. We didn't count with the rebound and then lost it. That should have been over the back on El Alfie. How do you not get that call? Fudd will hit it, will launch a three, top of the circle, no good, and the Gamecocks have it. 20 seconds to play in the half. Gamecocks can work for the final shot if that's their choosing. Get it into Maddie McDaniel. 12 seconds to play in the half. Gamecocks down 2. Maddie around a screen. Tries to drive in the lane. Kicks it out to Joyce Edwards. Edwards cutting across the baseline. Puts up a prayer that won't be answered, and that's how the first half will end. 20 minutes in the books. South Carolina trailing Connecticut here in the national semifinal. Low-scoring game, 26-24, as the two teams head to the locker room at the intermission. Entertaining first half, a very physical first half, and we'll see how the Gamecocks are able to adjust in the second half.
And Holly Rowe is with Sarah Strong.
Sarah, Geno just said in your huddle that you guys had to settle down, take a deep breath. What happened coming out of that huddle because you've now taken the lead?
I think we still take a deep breath. We were kind of spread up that half, that quarter. We're just taking our time and getting shots that we want.
You're getting a lot of attention right now defensively. How are you navigating that?
I'm just playing off of my teammates. They're sending me good screens. I'm going to set better screens, get them open because they're denying me hard.
How do you change the rebounding margin right now? They're big margin.
Just get the mentality we got to rebound. We want to, but we got to want to. We just got to do better.
Thanks so much.
All right, Sarah Holly, thank you very much. Sarah Strong, 8 points, 6 rebounds. UConn, a 2-point lead at the half in this Final Four matchup. Time to send things to Christine, Drea, and Chene with our halftime show.
Welcome to the Dove Clinical Plus Care Halftime Report. He just mentioned it. Andrea Carter, Christine Williamson, and Chanel Gumake, just out of order this time around because that first half of play was crazy. And one of the things that you guys each mentioned to me is how hard both of these teams are playing. It's just a 2-point ball game. What did you see from the UConn side, Dre?
Well, from both sides is how hard that these teams, I mean, they're walking back to the huddle just trying to catch their breath, but it's because they're working so hard. The defense on both sides, we're not going to show tape, we're just going to talk about it. The denials, how they're hard hedging, how they're scrambling, how they're being physical. Both teams, the effort level, it feels like the national championship game. From UConn specifically, though, Sarah Strong has done a little bit of everything. I know she's struggling from the field in terms of being 3 of 10, but she's got 6 rebounds, 2 blocks, 2 steals. The way that she's been active on both sides, just this little reverse step back into her 3-point shot. The layup that she took was probably my favorite play from Sarah Strong because it was aggressive, but the block shots, this play, head fake, drive, the power she's had to play with that level of power because South Carolina's defense has been excellent. I've been impressed all around.
Yeah, Sarah Strong has played with tremendous force, and ironically, that is South Carolina's superpower. And I didn't have the guards for South Carolina playing with force on my bingo card, but they really started getting it going, particularly Latson in the first quarter. Amongst our players in this Final Four, she has no Final Four experience. I could not tell. She's been poised. She's been attacking the basket, but she's not alone. The biggest mistake for South Carolina was waiting 7 minutes before getting Joyce Edwards a meaningful touch. Anytime she gets it, even if she misses it, she's aggressive on the board. So here's Kanaya getting them going, and then you follow that up with Joyce Edwards. She averages 20 points per game, but when you see this back down here, it's tough going up against Sarah Strong. She has elite footwork to step work. She's going to push through contact and finish right here. I mean, this is not easy. Good players have go-to moves. Great players have counter moves. It's been a 1-2 punch, but they will need more in the second half.
Going back to needing more, UConn has got to box out. They have to. I mean, South Carolina is excellent on the offensive glass. UConn has forced 9 turnovers. Yeah. South Carolina's turned the ball over, but South Carolina's gotten it back because they have 10 offensive rebounds. And another point about effort, McKeer has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
She is chasing AZ Fudd everywhere. I love that Coach Staley put Raven Johnson on Sarah Strong, but I don't know if she's going to be able to do that again because Raven has 2 fouls. So just interesting to see how they play it out.
Yeah, the foul trouble, but also the last thing that's a big is you want someone, a guard, guarding you. Yeah. But they settled in UConn, particularly Sarah Strong. This is the 4th time that UConn and South Carolina have matched up in the NCAA tournament. I do want to mention that the team leading at half is the one that has won the previous 3 times. Sarah Strong, she has 8 for her team. They are up 2 at the half. We'll be right back after this.
May 1985.
John asked me if I wanted to be the head coach at Connecticut, and I said, yeah.
That's it, good.
So you promise not to screw it up?
UConn has won the national championship.
The dynasty fulfills its destiny.
Even dozen for Geno, Auriemma, and Connecticut.
And the rest is history.
This halftime report is presented by Dove Clinical Plus Care. 96-hour sweat protection plus skin care.
Getting set to start the 3rd quarter here in the national semifinal. We're in Phoenix, Arizona for the 2026 NCAA Women's Final Four. South Carolina trailing UConn at the break 26-24. Went back and forth in that first half. Gamecocks a cold finish to the second quarter, just 1 for their last 11 from the floor. No field goals in the final 4 minutes for South Carolina. Let's see if they can get something going here early to start the 3rd quarter against a Connecticut team that has not allowed any opponent this year to score 70 or more points, and we're on pace for that here with only 24 points in the first half. Gamecocks in their road black uniforms, Connecticut in white. Will start the second half with the original starting 5. Johnson and Johnson, Latson, Edwards, and Okot. Carolina ball moving left to right towards their own bench. And again, we are high above the in the first level here near the mezzanine level, but in the middle of the floor. Better than where they had us last year here, where we were near the second deck in the corner. Joyce Edwards will trigger it in once TV gives us permission to play. Extended TV timeout. We're finally ready to go. Triggered into Raven. We're underway. Raven back in there after sitting much of the first half due to foul trouble. Tight man-to-man coverage for Connecticut as always. Raven, top of the circle, wants a screen, comes around it to her right, trying to create, cut off on the baseline, had the ball knocked out of her hands, and they say off of Raven. Raven maybe a little over-anxious after spending most of that half on the bench, and she turns it over on the first possession. So UConn will get it back, trying to make it a 2-possession game here. Huskies with the basketball. Up top is Fudd. Bounce pass to the right to Strong. Passes left to AZ Fudd. Fudd on the dribble drive. Pulls up from 10 feet and airballed it. Boy, you don't see that often. Rebound to the Gamecocks. Geno Auriemma furious about something. It'll be Carolina ball still down a bucket here. 26-24. Triggered into Joyce. She'll bring it up as they won't guard her bringing the ball up the floor. She'll get it across the Final Four logo. Second possession of the third quarter for the Gamecocks. Raven Johnson now on the Final Four logo. Tight man-to-man coverage. Passes right to Latson. Now Edwards right side. Started by Strong. Couple of All-Americans. Feed it inside Medina Okot. Medina gets her man in the air. Puts it up and in for her first point. She waited and waited, and we're tied at 26. Some confidence there for Medina Okot getting her first bucket. Tied at 26 with a minute gone by here in the third. Here come the Huskies. Up top, AZ Fudd as they run their weave up top. Now Sarah Strong, top of the circle. Dribbling right, handed off the shade, dribbling left. Towards the top of the circle, guarded by Tessa. Picks up the dribble, shot clock down to 10. Swings it right side to Arnold. Now up top, they feed it inside. Knocked away by Medina Okot, and Joyce Edwards comes out of there with it. Good defensive play there. Edwards hemmed in, gets it across to Raven Johnson. Raven drives in the lane, floats it up. Awkward shot, no good. Gets her own rebound, stick back, won't go down. Rebound, Big Mama, and the Gamecocks have it. Driving in the lane, Tessa Johnson. She'll float it up, no good. My goodness, we can't make layups. Still tied at 26. Connecticut with the basketball, they want to run. Fudd dribbling right side across the baseline, zips it out near corner. On the dribble is Arnold, feeds it up top to Shade. Shade guarded by Latson, drives into the lane, cut off on the low block, feeds it up top, knocked away by Raven. Raven racing down the length of the floor. One girl to beat, she will lay it up and in for her first points, and the Gamecocks have their first lead of the second half. 28-26 with 8 minutes to play in the third quarter. Raven Johnson anxious to make something happen after sitting most of that first half with foul trouble. Up top, AZ Fudd for the Huskies. Comes around to screen from Strong. Drives into the lane. Loops it high off the glass. No good. Williams with the rebound. Huskies have it again on the offensive glass. Shot clock at 15. Here's Fudd right side. Strong. Guarded by Edwards. Three ball off the rim. No good. Latson skies for the rebound, and the Gamecocks have it. Latson weaving through defenders. Driving into the lane. Cut off there. Feeds it inside to Big Mama, and she's fouled. Good follow there by Medina Okot after Latson got caught in no man's land. Foul's going to be on Sarah Strong. First foul on Strong. I know some South Carolina fans with some mock applause there as they don't think Sarah Strong will ever be whistled for a foul. But she does. Medina Okot at the line for a pair. Big Mama just scored her first points a moment ago. The senior from Kenya. First free throw is good. And the Gamecocks lead 29-26. 70% free throw shooter on the year. Medina, second team All-SEC this year. Second free throw, yes ma'am, and the Gamecocks with a 4-point lead. 30-26 with 7.5 minutes to play in the third quarter. Largest lead was 5. Here come the Huskies trying to answer now. Bounce pass to the right to Sarah Strong, guarded by Joyce Edwards. Feed it inside to Shade, cutting inside the free throw line, guarded by Tessa. Kick it back out right side to Arnold. Arnold on the dribble into the lane, spinning, shooting, and scoring. And that cuts Carolina's lead in half, 30-28. Pressure in the backcourt by the Huskies. We'll get it off to Raven Johnson. She'll bring it up on AZ Fudd. 30-28 Gamecocks, 3 minutes gone by in the third. Raven looks to Coach Dawn Staley for the play. Signals the play as the Gamecocks set up into their half-court offense. Shot clock already down to 15. Raven passes right to Tania Latson. Now Joyce Edwards right side trying to go baseline. Fighting through a double team, lays it up and in, and the Gamecocks lead 32-28. 8 points for Joyce Edwards. Got that one through a sea of arms. Here come the Huskies the other way. Strong kicks it out right side to Shade. Shade wants three right side, no good. Fight for the rebound underneath. It ping-pongs around and comes out to the Huskies. Oh, tough break there. Had two black jerseys, couldn't get the handle. And then Raven steals it away from AZ Fudd. One-on-one with Fudd. She will drive, shoot, misses the layup. She was knocked to the floor and no whistle. Oh, goodness. Here come the Huskies the other way. 32-28. Gamecocks lead. Missed opportunity there. Well contested by Fudd. Gamecock fans wanted a foul, not getting it. Bounce pass to the right to Sarah Strong. Shot clock at 15. Guarded by Joyce Edwards. Left to Shade. Open look at a three. Missed it short. Rebound Latson, and the Gamecocks have it. Leading by 4 minutes into the third quarter. Latson drives the center of the lane. Fumbles, recovers, knifes her way up, and she's fouled. Oh, boy. Latson tried to do too much on that play. Got herself cut off again in the lane and was in danger of traveling, and finally drew the harm as she was falling down, and the Gamecocks catch a break. Latson will go to the line for a pair. She's got 6 points tonight. This is her first visit to the line. Huskies will get Kaylee Heckel in, the sophomore from Port Chester, transfer from Southern Cal. Also checking in Bianca Quinonez, who's been one of their best players in the NCAA tournament. Latson at the stripe for a pair to try to extend this 4-point Gamecock lead. First one is good, matches our largest lead of 5 points. Latson 79% on the season, makes it 33-28. Second free throw, got them both, and the Gamecocks have their largest lead of 6 with 5:56 to play in the third. Medina Okot comes out, Agat McKeer in for the Gamecocks as we'll go with the smaller lineup now. A couple of good minutes there by Big Mama. Heckel across the timeline, guarded by Latson. Up top between the rings, Sarah Strong, guarded by Edwards, looking for a cutter. Gamecocks with the tight man-to-man, working out top of the circle. Heckel driving in the lane, it opens for, misses the layup, however. Contested well by Joyce Edwards. Gamecocks get the rebound. Here comes Latson. Latson driving in the lane, kicks it out. McKeer, right baseline jumper, got it! Gotti with the bucket. She's got 7 on the Gamecocks lead, 36-28 with 5:26 to play. And Geno's going to burn a timeout to stop the bleeding. An 8-point lead for the Gamecocks. Have the Garnet and Black faithful on their feet here in Phoenix. 5:25 to play in the third quarter. Hey parents, it's never too late or too early to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. Because if you're not talking to them, someone else is. Get conversation starters at openconversationsc.com. This women's basketball postseason radio broadcast is proudly presented by the South Carolina Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities. And you're listening to South Carolina women's basketball and the Gamecocks 15th national championship. Gamecocks in their 6th straight Final Four, 8th overall, in search of their 4th national championship. They've been to the title game 4 times, of course losing last year to these Huskies. On the floor for the Gamecocks, Johnson and Johnson, Latson, McKeer, and Edwards. UConn ball, they'll bring it in front of the scorer's table next to their bench down below us. Huskies moving right to left as we look at them. Gamecocks in black, Huskies in white, and we're underway. Shade to trigger it in. Bounce pass to Quinonez, middle of the floor, guarded by McKeer in the man-to-man. Tries to drive into the lane. Shot partially blocked. Rebound to Nia Latson. I think she got a hand on that layup. Latson zips it across to Edwards. Finds Raven in the far corner. Can't get a trigger on a 3 as AZ Fudd picks her up. Will settle into the half court. Midway through the third quarter, here's Tessa Johnson. Drives top of the circle. Steps back into a 3-pointer. Missed it short. Rebound to UConn. Just didn't have enough leg on that one. Here come the Huskies in transition. It's AZ Fudd dribbling under the basket. She'll pull it out. Don't know why she didn't try up for a layup. Shade pulls up from the free throw line and buries it, and that ends that 6-0 run. Gets the Huskies within 6 at 36-30. Shade's been good for them tonight. Their leading scorer now with 10 points. Averaging just under 8 points per game. Here's McKeer left side. Tight man-to-man coverage. Feeds to Edwards inside the free throw line. Trying to back down strong. Puts it up and in over the All-American. Joyce Edwards in double figures with 10. Back to an 8-point lead at 38-30. 4:25 to play in the third quarter. Here comes Quinonez driving at the free throw line. Ball knocked out of her hands. Gamecocks come out of there with it. Long lead pass to Joyce Edwards. One girl to beat. She's knocked to the floor by Fudd, and that'll be a foul on Fudd. Fudd can't believe it, but that is a no-brainer. Carolina ball when we come back. They lead UConn 38-30 with 4:16 to play in the third quarter. And you're listening to South Carolina women's basketball on the Gamecock Sports Network from Learfield. Event has certainly grown in recent years, not just in the size of the arena they're playing in the women's games, playing in NBA arenas, but the stuff that goes on around it in the league in the days leading up to it, including the things like the Tourney Town, the events for the fans to go to. That has grown tremendously, and that was a lot of fun. They had the teams there the other night by themselves for all the events and games you can play at Tourney Town at the convention center across the street here. Gamecocks in black, Connecticut in white. It's going to be UConn ball Carolina ball as play resumes. We'll bring it in baseline right side to Nia Latson to do the honors. Slaps the ball, gets it into Joyce Edwards, right of the lane. Guarded by Strong, the All-American. We'll pull it back out now. We'll settle back into a half court. Joyce on the right wing, one-on-one with Strong. Drives, bumped. Yeah, there's a foul on Strong. I think Coach Staley was going to come out of her shoes if they didn't get the whistle on that one. But they did. Just the second foul on Strong, I should say. And that'll send Joyce Edwards to the line. Joyce going right at her. First visit to the line tonight for Edwards. The sophomore from Camden, South Carolina. Missed the first one, 71% on the year. Gamecocks 7 out of 9 now from the free throw line tonight. But every miss becomes magnified at this level. Second free throw, missed them both. And rebound Sarah Strong. Missed opportunity for the Gamecocks. Still an 8-point lead. Connecticut with the basketball. 4 minutes to play in the third. You hate to see that. 2 missed free throws. They run their weave up top. Shade dribbling to her left. Started by Latson in the man-to-man. Feeds it inside to Strong. Going right at Joyce Edwards. A little hook shot up. No good. Rebound ping-pongs around. Edwards and her own teammate Tania Latson wrestling for it. Latson wins that wrestling match, and the Gamecocks have it. Fortunately, we didn't get a travel call. Up top, I got McKeer. Tight man-to-man coverage. Hands it off to Latson. Latson dribbling to her left. To Raven now. Raven dribbling back across the top of the circle. To McKeer up top. Shot clock down to 11. Behind the back dribble. Drives in the lane. Awkward shot. No good. And she was knocked to the floor. Here come the Huskies 2-on-2 the other way. Feed it out to Shade left side. Steps back into a three. No good. Rebound. Karams around. And Tania Latson comes out of there with it for the Gamecocks. Carolina still leading by 8. Latson will take it to the rack herself. Misses the layup. Late whistle on a foul on Connecticut will send the Gamecocks to the line. 3:09 to play. Boy, both teams missing some layups. Well contested at times, but still shots you want to see them make. And we'll send Tania Latson to the free throw line. That's the 5th team foul on the Huskies. Gamecocks in the bonus for the final 3:09 as Canonia has picked up her 3rd foul. Latson rattles home the first one. She's got 9 points. Tania Latson with 9 rebounds tonight. Makes it 39-30. One more time for Lat. Got it. And the Gamecocks have their first double-digit lead at 40-30 with 3:09 to play in the 3rd quarter. Here come the Huskies the other way. Gamecock fans on their feet here. Now the Huskies fans get up. Here's Heckel right side. Weaving across the baseline. Ball knocked out of her hands, but she recovers. Dribbling back to the top of the arc. Latson stays with her. Shot clock at 15. Now Easy Fudd, top of the circle. Gets past Raven. Bounce pass to the right. Wide open jumper from the baseline. Won't go down. Joyce Edwards skies for the rebound. Oh my goodness. And then Joyce Edwards goes over the back and wrestles it away. They're going to call a held ball. Possession will go back to Connecticut. Tough play there as Edwards did what she's supposed to. Got the rebound and held it high. And then Sarah Strong just went over her back behind her and tied it up. Gamecock fans wanted a foul, not going to get it. Huskies will bring it in to Strong, left baseline. Jumper goes up, no good. Fight for the rebound. It's loose on the floor. It's still loose, and the Huskies come out of there with it. Right side to Ashlyn Shade. Shade on the dribble drive. Cut off in the lane. Kicks it out right side to Heckel for a long one. Got it. Long three for Kaylee Heckel, just her 18th of the year, and that cuts Carolina's lead down 40-33. Big three-pointer for the Huskies, just their 2nd of the night. They're 2 for 12 from three-point range. See if the Gamecocks can answer. 2:15 to play in the 3rd. Raven Johnson dribbling left. Comes around a screen to her right. Man-to-man coverage. Up top, Tania Latson. Shot clock down to 10. Latson gets a screen from Edwards. Pulls up for 3 left side. Back rimmed it, no good. And Strong with the rebound. Here come the Huskies. Lead is down to 7. Here's Fudd across the timeline. Guarded by Tessa. Cut off there. Hands it off to Shade right side. Shade back up top, Sarah Strong. Maybe a clear out here for Edwards. Edwards on the floor, passes to her right, shot clock at 12. Shade drives underneath the basket. Ball knocked out of her hands, but right to Fudd. They'll work it up top to Quinonia's wide open look for 3, and she buries it. And just like that, the 10-point lead is down to 4 at 40-36. The Huskies had only hit 1 3-pointer all night. They hit back-to-back here to get them in the game, and Carolina's lead is trimmed 40-36 in a matter of seconds. But good ball rotation there. We couldn't snatch the rebounds. Raven Johnson weaving through defenders. Hemmed in on the sideline, and she dribbled out of bounds. Turnover gives it back to the Huskies, and the Gamecocks coming unglued here. Raven with a mental mistake, dribbled into the sideline, into a trap, and put her foot out of bounds apparently. And now the Huskies, who were down by 10 just moments ago, not even 2 minutes ago, have cut it to 4 and have the basketball, looking to make it a 1-possession game. Medina Okot will check in for the Gamecocks. She picks up Latson. Gamecocks need a stop here, try to get that momentum back. 10-point lead quickly down to 4. Quickly across the timeline. Here's Fudd. Steps back into a three right wing. Bang. Another three-pointer. 3 straight threes for the Huskies, and the 10-point lead is down to 1 in less than 2 minutes. As Fudd hits the 3rd straight three-pointer for the Huskies here in 2 minutes. They'd only hit 1 in 11 chances prior to this little stretch. They've hit 3 in a row. Gamecocks need a bucket. 50 seconds to play. The lead is just 1. Shot clock at 10. Edwards right side. Whistle away from the ball. Going to get a foul on Connecticut. That'll work on Ali Zabel, the sophomore from Wisconsin. Will pick up the foul, and that'll send the Gamecocks to the free throw line to try to end this 9-0 run by the Huskies, all on three-pointers. Now, it was only a matter of time before the Huskies were going to hit some shots, and they're hitting them in bunches here. They were 1 for 11 from three-point range. Now they've hit 3 in a row. Tessa Johnson at the free throw line for the first time tonight. Hits the first one to snap that little run, makes it 41-39. 46.5 seconds to play here in the third. One more time for Tessa. 81% free throw shooter, hits them both. The lead up to 3 at 42-39. Here come the Huskies. Gamecocks need a stop in a big way here. Sarah Strong up top, hands it off to Fudd. Fudd thought about the 3, she'll drive, kick it out left side. Quinones for 3, missed it. Ball will be out of bounds to the Gamecocks. Quinones had a good look. A good kick out there by Connecticut to set up another three-point attempt to a 40% three-point shooter. And Quinones couldn't knock it down. We'll get Maddie McDaniel into the contest. She'll pick up Raven. 32.7 seconds to play in the third. Gamecocks with a three-point lead over top seed Connecticut Huskies. Joyce Edwards will bring it up the floor. Spinning in the backcourt, guarded closely by Quinones. Gets it across along the sideline. A lot of bumping, but they're not calling the second touch there. They've been letting them play all night. Shot clock down to 15 as McDaniel has it at the logo. Passes right to Tessa Johnson. Now to Edwards. Feeds it down low to Akant in the baseline. Shot clock down to 10. Tessa near corner. Baseline jumper. Got it. Tessa Johnson puts the Gamecocks on top, 44-39. Big bucket there for Tessa. Final shot, 2 seconds to play. Strong lays it up. No good off the rim, and that's how the third quarter will end. Well, the lead was 10. It's down to 5 as we head to the fourth quarter. 30 minutes in the books. 10 minutes to decide who's headed to the national championship game. Final frame coming up after this. This women's basketball postseason radio broadcast is proudly presented by the South Carolina Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities. And you're listening to South Carolina Women's Basketball on the Gamecock Sports Network from Learfield.
South Carolina, 5-point lead as we get ready to start the fourth quarter. This Final Four matchup moments ago. Holly Rowe caught up with UConn head coach Geno Auriemma.
Well, Coach, a kind of wild turn of events. Sarah Strong's jersey is split right down the middle. I saw you speaking to the refs about it. What message did you try to convey?
Right. There were 6 fouls called that quarter, all of them against us. And they've been beating the shit out of our guys down there the entire game. And I'm not making excuses because we haven't been able to make a shot. But this is ridiculous. Their coach rants and raves on the sideline and calls the referee some names you don't want to hear. And now we get 6-0, and I got a kid with a ripped jersey, and they go, I didn't see it. Come on, man. This is for the national championship.
Had 4 lead changes here tonight. It's been tied 4 times as well, but it's been close throughout. Again, the Gamecocks did have a very brief 10-point lead, but it got quickly down to 1 in less than 2 minutes as the Huskies suddenly heated up from three-point range. They were 1 for 11 from three-point range and then hit 3 in a row, back to back to back, to get back in it. And you knew, even though a 10-point lead over UConn seemed impressive, you knew it's hard to keep a team like that down for very long, and they responded in a big way. Gamecocks in black, Connecticut in white will take the floor to start the fourth quarter with Maddie McDaniel, Johnson & Johnson, Agat McKeer, and Joyce Edwards. Gamecocks has really rotated their lineup between big and small today. And it'll be Carolina ball, I believe, to start the fourth quarter, moving left to right. Yep. Joyce Edwards will trigger it in. Here comes Raven Johnson. We'll get it across the Final Four logo. Tight man-to-man coverage for the Huskies. Raven dribbling to her left, gets a screen from Joyce, comes around it to her right, can't do much with it. Trying to free up a shooter. Passes left to Edwards. 15 to shoot it now. Raven on the left wing. Thought about the three, doesn't pull the trigger. Hands it off to McKeer. Bumped, but no foul. 10 to shoot it. Now McDaniel drives across the baseline. Awkward shot, rolls off the rim, no good. Fight for the rebound. Oh, and they're going to get a foul. I thought the Gamecocks were going to get a tie-up. Dawn Staley can't believe it. I'm going to put it on Joyce Edwards. Joyce thought she got a tie-up as well, but not to be. Edwards collects her first foul. First team foul in the Gamecocks, obviously, this quarter. Connecticut ball. Gamecocks lead is 5. Just underway here in the fourth. Across the timeline, Huskies moving right to left. Here's Fudd. Passes left to Heckel. Guarded by McDaniel. Now top of the circle. Sarah Strong must have changed her jersey because now she's wearing number 55. Driving in the lane. Floater is up by Fudd. It won't go down. Rebound to McKeer, and the Gamecocks have it. McKeer steams across the timeline. Drives into the lane. Rolls it up and in. McKeer finds another gear. Goes coast to coast. She's got 9 in the Gamecocks lead. 46-39. Minute gone by here in the fourth. Here come the Huskies. Up top with it as AZ Fudd. Guarded by Raven in the man-to-man. Shot clock at 15. Up top it comes to Strong, wearing a different jersey now, trying to create. Ball knocked out of her hands. Fight for it again. It's loose on the floor. It's still loose. And they're going to get Edwards for another foul, and Dawn Staley can't believe it. Didn't look like there was any possession there. Edwards diving after the loose ball. And they're going to say that the UConn player had possession, thus justifying the foul. So back to fouls in the same fashion on Joyce Edwards. I don't know about that one. Gamecock fans don't like it. Again, we're 100 or so feet away, but anyway, UConn ball, 7-point lead, 8:40 to play. Gamecocks on defense. They feed it down. Then they're going to get a touch foul on Joyce Edwards under the basket. You got to be kidding me. Joyce picks up 3 fouls in less than a minute. After all the contact they've allowed tonight, now you're calling that? You've got to be kidding me. They'll bring it in baseline right side. 3 fouls. They're going to put UConn in the bonus before we get to the media break. Here's Fudd, near corner 3. Got it. AZ Fudd, her 116th three-pointer of the year, makes it 46-42. 8.5 minutes to play in the game. We get it across to McKeer, trying to drive, and there's got to be a foul on AZ Fudd. Yes, finally. Fudd will be whistled for her second, and we'll send McKeer to the line. Oh, they're going to say before shooting? I thought she was in the act of shooting, but apparently not. All right, so it'll be Carolina ball. We'll bring it in baseline right side. Lead is just 4. Huskies have now hit 5 3-pointers after hitting only 1 in the first 37 minutes of this game. Here's Raven Johnson right side. Tight man-to-man defense by KK Arnold. Raven trying to drive into the lane. Pull-up jumper from 10 feet. In and out, no good. Went halfway down and popped out. Here come the Huskies the other way. Trying to make it a 1-possession game. 4-point lead for the Gamecocks. Here's Arnold. Passes left to Sarah Strong. Driving into the lane on Edwards. Floats it up. No good. Fight for the rebound. Strong rips it away. Kick it out right side. Quinones for 3. No good. Edwards with the rebound this time, and the Gamecocks have it. And then Joyce just threw it away. Just threw it right to one of the Connecticut Huskies. Heckel comes out of there with it. Not sure what she was thinking. Wanted to get it to Raven, but Raven was guarded and just threw it right to her. Just a brain cramp there. They'll drive in the lane, and Raven blocks the shot of Heckel into the baseline out of bounds, and Raven let her know about it as well. Frustration there. But Joyce Edwards frustrated probably about the 3 fouls that have been called on her in less than a minute. A couple of them questionable. And a costly turnover there gives it back to the Huskies. Huskies triggered in left side to KK Arnold, guarded by Tessa Johnson. Feed it to Heckel, top of the circle. Now to AZ Fudd. Straightaway look at a 3, no good. McKeer skies for the rebound, and the Gamecocks have it. Still a 4-point lead for the Gamecocks, 7:25 and counting. To Joyce Edwards, top of the circle. A lot of contact by Strong, but no foul. Kick it back up top to Raven Johnson. Raven signals the plays, will slow things down. Shot clock at 13. Feeds it to Edwards at the free throw line. 10 to shoot it. Joyce puts it on the floor, and she's going to be fouled by Sarah Strong, and some mock applause by the Gamecock fans as Strong collects her 3rd foul. Suddenly, they're calling it a little bit tighter. Tonight, Latson will check in. Maddie McDaniel out. Non-shooting. Gamecocks will bring it in baseline right side. 7:07 to play here. Raven to trigger it in. Goes up top to Joyce Edwards, and we're underway. Started by Strong. She'll hand it off to Raven. Raven. Stop and go dribble. Looks to Coach Staley for the play. Dribbling to her right. Shot clock under 10. And then Raven just got her pocket pick. Now it's going to be tied up. It's going to be a held ball, possession to Connecticut. Gamecocks are getting very careless with the basketball in tight coverage. And UConn will have it on the alternating possession arrow again to try to make it a one-possession game. Connecticut's done a good job of turning Raven over tonight, which doesn't happen often. UConn ball, 6:50 to play. Gamecocks lead 46-42. Arnold across the timeline, guarded by Tessa, hands it off to Heckel. Up top, AZ Fudd. Feeds it right side, Sarah Strong, guarded by Joyce Edwards. Feed it inside, driving in the lane, and going to get a foul on Agatha McKeer. She got behind Quinones, tried to block it from behind, but got some skin. That'll send the Huskies to the line. Raven Johnson, by the way, 4 turnovers tonight. This is a lot for her. She'll come out now. Maddie McDaniel in. You can see Raven's frustration. That usual smiling face, not smiling right now. Quinones at the free throw line, the freshman from Ecuador. He's competed for the Ecuadorian senior national team. Big East freshman of the year. Good free throw shooter at 74%. Hits the first one. Has 6 points here tonight. Had 20 points in their Elite 8 win over Notre Dame. Second free throw is good, and it's a 2-point game at 46-44. As they'll get Ashlyn Shade back in for Connecticut. Out goes Heckel. All right, Gamecocks need a bucket here. Over a scoring drought of about 2.5 minutes for the Gamecocks. The lead down to 2. Largest lead was 10. Full court pressure by the Huskies for the first time tonight. Edwards in the backcourt. Picks up the dribble, gets it across to Maddie McDaniel. Maddie drives the center of the lane, floats it up and in. Nobody stopped the dribble, got past the defender, and the Gamecocks lead 48-44. 3 points for Maddie. Here comes Fudd driving across the baseline. Feeds it out, back up top to Shade. Shade driving the lane right side. It opens for, hits the underside of the rim. Gamecocks get the rebound. Here comes Maddie McDaniel. McDaniel, top of the circle, picks up the dribble, gets it to Edwards. Work it left side to Latson. She'll go baseline, and she's fouled by Quinones. Foul was before the shot, which unfortunately won't count. It went in. 6:03 to play. Gamecocks lead is 4. Quinones picks up her 4th foul. 3rd team foul on the Huskies. Non-shooting. McDaniel will bring it in baseline left side for the Gamecocks. Now the officials, not sure what they're looking at here. Making sure they got the foul right, I assume. Yep, McDaniel will bring it in, baseline left side. Gamecocks with a 4-point lead. Got to hurry to avoid the 5 count. Got to hurry. Goes up top to McKeer. McKeer's going to spot up for 3. Bang! Got it. 3-pointer, Agatha McKeer. Her second 3 of the night. She's got a dozen, and the Gamecocks lead 51-44. And a timeout by Geno Auriemma. Agatha McKeer, only 22% from three-point range, but she's hit 2 beauties here tonight. 2 for 2, leads the Gamecocks with a dozen points. That'll send us to a timeout with 5:53 to play, and the Gamecocks leading it 51-44. And you're listening to South Carolina Women's Basketball on the Gamecock Sports Network from there. They keep putting folks up on the video board, including Flava Flav. Hope some of you know who he is. But he didn't have the big, clock thing that he normally wears. Gamecocks in black, Connecticut in white. Connecticut ball as play resumes after the timeout by the Huskies. On the floor for the Gamecocks, Maddie McDaniel, Tessa Johnson, Tania Latson, Agatha McKeer, and Joyce Edwards. Edwards going with the double puff hairdo tonight. I'm sorry, Carolina. No, yeah, it's Connecticut ball. They were pointing the other way. The officials had the players going in the wrong direction. They were initially pointing like it was Carolina ball, but I knew for a fact it was Connecticut because Agatha does hit that 3-pointer. Connecticut ball moving right to left. Here we go. KK Arnold will bring it up on Maddie McDaniel. Dribbling to her right across the far sideline. Picks up the dribble, needs some help. Feeds it into the far corner, gets it back. Shot clock down to 13. Up top, Sarah Strong gets past Tessa Johnson, drives into the lane, kick it out to Fudd, near corner three. Too strong. Rebound, Joyce Edwards, and the Gamecocks have it. Get it across to Maddie McDaniel. Maddie will bring it across the Final Four logo. 5.5 minutes to play. Gamecocks with a 7-point lead over top-seeded UConn. McDaniel driving top of the circle. Got to do something with it. Passes left to Nia Latson. Shot clock already down to 13. Tight man-to-man coverage. Passes left to Joyce Edwards. Joyce on the dribble. Shot clock under 10. Trying to drive into the lane. Off-balance jumper. Won't bank in. No black jerseys underneath. Not the best shot we wanted there. Midway through the fourth, Gamecocks with a 7-point lead. Connecticut with the basketball. Sarah Williams passes back to KK Arnold, guarded by Latson in the man-to-man. Dribbling to her right. Hands it off to A.Z. Fudd. Fudd bounce pass top of the circle to Williams. The handoff to Shade. Shade's been good for them tonight. Shot clock under 10, guarded by McDaniel. Swings it to Fudd right side. Shot clock at 5, comes around to screen. Back to Sarah Strong for a good look at a 3, and she buries it. Sarah Strong, I believe that's her first points of the second half, and the lead is trimmed 54-47. Here's Agat McKeer the other way. 4.5 minutes to play, just a 4-point lead for the Gamecocks. Strong now in double figures with 11 points, her second three-pointer. The big girl shoots 40% from that range. Her 61st three-pointer of the year. Up top, Joyce Edwards. Shot clock already down to 13. Joyce passes right to McKeer. McKeer on the dribble drive against Strong. Puts an awkward shot up, no good. Got to square up to the basket. Rebound to UConn. We're hoping for a foul and not getting it. And shooting off balance. Here comes Arnold the other way. Blocked by Joyce Edwards. What a defensive stand there by Joyce. Then she loses the handle, recovers. A lot of contact, no foul. Gamecocks come out of there with it. Ahead to Agat McKeer. One girl to beat. She will lay it up and in past Sarah Strong. And the Gamecocks lead 53-47. My goodness. Turned into a wrestling match for a moment, and they just let them play, and the Gamecocks got the transition bucket there from McKeer, who now has 14 points. Strong didn't want to pick up her fourth foul, it looked like. 3.5 minutes to play here in Phoenix. Fudd passes right to Strong. Started by McKeer. Up top to Fudd again. Fudd around a screen to her right. Finds Strong right side. On the dribble drive. Pulls up from the right elbow. Left it short. Rebound. Karam's out of bounds. Off of whom? Carolina ball. 3:18 to play. Gamecocks with a 6-point lead. We'll get Big Mama in. Medina Okot will check in for the Gamecocks. They'll pick up Agat McKeer, who's been spectacular. So we go with the bigger lineup here for the moment. Give Gotti a break. Maddie McDaniel will bring it up for the Gamecocks. Gets it across the Final Four logo. Coach Staley signals the play. Swing it right side to Latson. Latson with 15 to shoot it. Picks up the dribble. Passes right. Gets it back. Tries to drive in the lane right side. Shot blocked. There's Big Mama on the other side. She'll lay it in for 2. Big Mama with the board and the bucket, and the Gamecocks lead 55-47 with 2:50 to play here in the fourth quarter. Huskies get it across the timeline. KK Arnold working on Maddie McDaniel. Up top it comes to Williams. They run their weave up top with Shade. Shot clock at 15. To Fudd right side. Fudd on the dribble into the lane. A little hop step, puts it off the glass, no good. Rebound, Big Mama. Medina Okot with another rebound. She's got 8, and the Gamecocks have it. 2.5 minutes to play. Gamecocks with an 8-point lead. McDaniel will get it across. Tight man-to-man coverage. Got to help out on the ball here. Shot clock already halfway down. McDaniel up top to Edwards. Trying to drive against Sarah Strong. Feeds it down low and threw it away. And it was knocked out of bounds off the Huskies. It'll be Carolina ball, but just 8 seconds on the shot clock. Every possession getting magnified here. 2:11 to play. The Gamecocks with an 8-point lead. And a timeout taken by Coach Dawn Staley to try to settle things down. 2:11 to play here. South Carolina leading at 55-47. It's a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it right here. Parents, it's never too late or too early to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, because if you're not talking to them, someone else is. Get conversation starters at openconversationsc.com. 2 minutes and 11 seconds to decide who's playing in the national championship game here in Phoenix. South Carolina trying to pull off the upset of undefeated and number 1 ranked Connecticut. Do they have enough gas in the tank to finish this one off? Remember how quickly the Huskies turned a 10-point Carolina lead into just a 1-point lead. They did that in the third quarter. Now the Gamecocks have ballooned it back up to 8. but still a couple of mountains to climb here. Just 8 seconds on the shot clock. Both teams with two timeouts remaining. On the floor for the Gamecocks, Okot, Latson, Edwards, McDaniel, and Tessa. Tessa will bring it in next to the Carolina bench in front of the scorers table down below us. Tessa looking, gets it up top to Joyce Edwards, feeds it to McDaniel. Shot clock down to 5, to Tessa up top, spots up for 3. In and out, no good. Fight for the rebound. Tania Latson with the rebound in the corner, and the Gamecocks have it. Under 2 minutes to play. Big board by Tania Latson. She's got 10 rebounds tonight. Goodness. Here's Maddie McDaniel around a screen. Passes right, Tania Latson. 5 to shoot it. Tania drives, shoots, doesn't score, but she's fouled and will go to the line. Put the foul on KK Arnold, her third. And we'll send Tania Latson to the line. Latson, a double-double tonight. Her first double-double, I believe, as a Gamecock. 10 points, 10 rebounds. Her career high is 11 rebounds, and she'll be at the line for a pair. Maddie McDaniel out. Raven Johnson in. Agat Makir in. She'll pick up Big Mama. That's Medina Okot, is Big Mama, for those wondering at home. That's what Coach calls her, so that's what we call her. There's Tania Latson. First free throw, good. 56-47. One more time for Latson. Second free throw. Got it. 10-point lead with 1:45 to play. Matching our largest lead. Here come the Huskies. Gamecocks need to stop here. Don't give up anything quick. Here's Shade right side, trying to drive the baseline. And you don't want to foul. Ball knocked loose by Latson, and Edwards comes out of there with it. Gamecocks have it with 90 seconds to play. Joyce Edwards double teamed in the backcourt, gets it off to Raven. Across to Makir. Gamecocks should just work some clock here as much as possible. 10-point lead with 1:24 to play, and a foul on the Huskies will send the Gamecocks to the line, as that's the 5th team foul. Now you got to make the free throws. 1:21 to play. South Carolina with a 10-point lead over the defending national champs and undefeated Connecticut Huskies. It'll be Joyce Edwards at the stripe. Now remember, Joyce 0 for 2 from the line, missed a couple earlier this half. This would be a good time to make some. And she makes the first one for our largest lead at 58-47. One more time for Joyce. Missed the second one. Rebound Sarah Strong. Here we go. 1:20 to play. 11-point lead. Don't want to foul here and let them score with the clock not moving. Here come the Huskies around a screen. Heckel drives in the lane and opens for. Misses the uncontested layup. Latson with the rebound, and she's fouled underneath by Shade. We'll go the other way for 2 more. I'm not sure how she missed it. It was a dribble drive down the center of the lane, and the Gamecocks didn't want to foul. Really a little too passive on the defense, and she flat out blew the layup, and the Gamecocks got the rebound. Latson ties her career high with her 11th rebound, and Geno Auriemma is going to burn another timeout. With 1:05 to play, they'll have one remaining. The Gamecocks with an 11-point lead, and Latson will be at the line for a pair. South Carolina trying to shock the women's basketball world and knock off undefeated UConn here in the national semifinal. Still 1:05 to play. And again, the Gamecocks don't want to foul when Connecticut gets it back, and you don't want to allow them to score with the clock not moving. Certainly don't give up a 3 or a 4-point play. Huskies have heated up from three-point range here in the second half. Remember, they were just 1 for 11 midway through the third quarter from three-point range. They've hit 5 of their last 9 from three-point range. So at one point, turn a 10-point lead down to 1, but now it's an 11-point lead. Carolina currently on a 7-0 run here, trying to pull this thing out. Huskies have 1 timeout remaining. The Gamecocks have 2. Next foul by Carolina will put UConn in the bonus. Gamecocks already in the bonus on the other side. The 2 big free throws coming up here for Tania Latson, who's got 12 points and has tied her career high with 11 rebounds. Latson, who had 28 points in the Sweet 16 win over Oklahoma, coming up big on both ends of the floor here. 1:05 to play. 2 free throws for Lat. Hits the first one, and it's 59-47. One more time for Latson. You at least got to make Connecticut work for their points. Latson hits them both. It's a 9-0 run. Latson 8 for 8 from the foul line today. Minute to play here in Phoenix. Gamecocks trying to hold on and get back to the national championship. Here come the Huskies. Up top to AZ Fudge. She'll spot up for 3. Off the rim, no good. Raven Johnson with the rebound. She'll get it off to Taniyah Latson. Latson spins across the timeline and she's fouled. And that'll send her to the line again with 45.3 seconds to play. Gamecock fans on their feet here in Phoenix. They can smell it. After losing twice to Connecticut last year, including an impressive win by the Huskies in the national championship game, the Gamecocks are returning the favor here in the national semifinal. Latson at the line, hits the first one. It's 61-47. A 10-0 run right now by the Gamecocks. When it matters. Latson hits them both again. He's 10 for 10 from the stripe. 62-47 Gamecocks. 43 seconds to play here in Phoenix. Gamecocks applying some pressure in the backcourt just so the clock will tick. You don't want to foul, however. Huskies have it right side. Sarah Strong, guarded by McKeer. She'll drive into the lane. Floats it up, no good, but she was fouled and will go to the line with 30 seconds to play. And the Huskies will try to snap this 11-0 run by the Gamecocks at the free throw line. Sarah Strong at the line. 1 out of 2 tonight. She's got 11 points. I think only 3 on that three-pointer a moment ago in the second half. Gamecocks has done a number on her and made her very inefficient. 4 out of 16 from the floor. First free throw from Sarah Strong, the All-American. Missed the first one. An 85% free throw shooter. Here comes the second one. Got that one. That snaps the run. It's 62-48. To trigger it in. Just trying to avoid a turnover here. Raven Johnson steams across the timeline. Passes left corner to Taniyah Latson. Latson cut off from the baseline. Just pull it out. Gamecocks just playing keep away here. 1 second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. The Huskies aren't fouling. Gamecock fans on their feet. The Gamecock fans on their feet. South Carolina is going to upend the women's basketball world. Maybe nobody else but the folks in Columbia, South Carolina believed South Carolina is going to knock off undefeated and top-ranked Connecticut. Will take the shot clock violation here with 1 second remaining, and the Huskies will just have to trigger it in. They have to let the officials know. Coach Geno Auriemma thought the game was over. He was already walking off the floor. He seems upset about it. Coach Dawn Staley upset about something too. Not sure what happened down there. So they'll sort this out. Coach Staley's still hot. Geno's still hot. UConn will inbound. 0.8 seconds to play. And that allows the Gamecock fans to celebrate a little more. Just waiting for him to inbound the ball. Come on, officials. UConn will inbound. The Gamecocks have done it. They knock off undefeated and top-seeded Connecticut 62-48. The Gamecocks are back in the national championship game for the second year in a row. They knock off the defending national champion UConn Huskies 62-48, ending Connecticut's 54-game win streak. What a night for the Gamecocks. They're dancing on in Phoenix to the national championship on Sunday, where they will await the winner of Texas and UCLA. We'll take a timeout and start our wrap-up in just a moment. And you're listening to South Carolina Women's Basketball on the Gamecock Sports Network from there.
But South Carolina dominates Connecticut in the second half. 62-48 the final. And Tania Latson, a double-double in her first Final Four contest. AZ Fudd running off after her final collegiate game. Connecticut's 54-game winning streak ends. Latson is with Holly Rowe.
Well, tonight, you led the nation in scoring last year. You gave up personal glory to be part of something special. So it's fitting that tonight you are the leading scorer, the leading rebounder in some respects. Tell me, what does this mean to you to have sacrificed and have it pay off like this?
It means so much to me. I mean, I wouldn't be here without God and my teammates and my coaches. I know it was a personal sacrifice, and I know everybody don't get that. But this is why I came to South Carolina to play in the national championship and win it.
Dawn Staley said that when she was recruiting you in the portal, she said, I don't promise you anything except that you will play. How have you earned this, Tania?
I mean, she's always allowed me to be myself. I mean, coming in, I knew it was going to be hard adjusting to the system, but she gave me the freedom to be me. And I feel like that's what made me, click so well with the team and, be myself.
Speaking of the team, the defense was suffocating. How did you change the course of this game altogether?
I mean, we just played together. We played team defense. We know they had a really good team out there with AZ Fudd and Sarah Strong. We had to contain them. And we had to stick to the game plan, trust the game plan. That's something that the coach always talks about, and just continue to be us and play South Carolina basketball.
How about we see you in the national championship game, Tania?
Yeah, I can't wait. Go Cox.
Well, Tania Latson in South Carolina moving on to the national championship game Sunday, 3:30 Eastern on ABC. Who will join them? UCLA, Texas up next here on ESPN. But here's what happened at the end of regulation. Saw Geno with some words for Dawn, and obviously it escalated from there. And Holly is with Dawn Staley right now.
Well, Coach, something happened there at the end of the game. What went wrong on the sideline right now?
I have no idea. But I'm going to let you know this. I'm of integrity. I'm of integrity. So if I did something wrong to Geno, I had no idea what I did. I guess he thought I didn't shake his hand at the beginning of the game. I didn't know. I went down there pregame, shook everybody on his staff's hand. I don't know what he came with after the game, but, hey, sometimes things get heated. We move on.
Okay, let's get to your team, because that was a dominant performance. How did they come out with such suffocating defense and set the tone in this game?
We wanted to win, and our kids laid it on the line. They were locked in for every minute, every second of the game, even when they came back. I thought we were scrappy. I thought we wanted to win, and we displayed that. And I'm super proud of our kids, and I'm not going to let any incident take anything away from the performance on the floor.
Two of your new players, Auriemma, a freshman, Tania Latson out of the portal. They were your stars tonight. How have you adapted them to your culture and your winning ways, Dawn Staley?
How about this? They're just really cool individuals. They're great human beings who sacrificed to come to play at South Carolina. Gotti didn't play a whole lot in the beginning of the season. She got her some experience, and now she's making impact on both sides of the ball. And I love Tania Latson for sacrificing, and I'm glad we're able to give her an opportunity to win a national championship. And that's what it's all about. Like, I am overjoyed. I'm giving God the glory because he made it possible. His will was done today.
Well, we'll see you on Easter Sunday to play for a championship. I appreciate your time in this moment. Thank you.
He is risen.
All right, thank you very much, Coach Staley. Holly, UConn's 54-game winning streak ends tonight. A dominant performance from South Carolina, 62-48 the win, and some zest at the finish. We'll be back with UCLA, Texas in just a little bit, but for now, to our studio crew, Christine, Drea, and Chene.
Thanks, Ryan. Welcome to the NCAAA Women's Final Four studio presented by Capital One. Chanel Gumake, Andrea Carter, and Christine Williamson here. He just mentioned the zest at the end of that game as South Carolina wins 62-48, a 14-point ball game. And Andrea, you mentioned earlier in the game that you felt a tension in the air, and we saw it kind of displayed at the end of that matchup. What did you guys see play out?
Yeah, what we saw at the end between the coaches is what was felt throughout the entire game in terms of the intensity. The players played so hard, but this moment right here was like everything boiling over.
Yeah, completely. Honestly, Drea, you and I, we've been doing this for a couple of years. I also played in 3 Final Fours. This was the most intense game I have seen at this level. And it's because they care, that they're competitive, that they're passionate. Now, let's be real here. We understood that going into the Final Four with 2 SEC teams, which we know is the toughest conference, their physicality, there was going to be a narrative. There were going to be question marks about, can the officials let them play that way? Now, one thing I know is walking those shoes, you have to throw the first punch. You have to set the tone with physicality. Then you regulate, and then you settle into the game. And I do believe watching this game, when you see the South Carolina Gamecocks, they're going to play their style and physical and see if the rest will let them do that. And I do think that's where Geno found that frustration because his team was not able to get into an offensive rhythm. When you look at UConn, what did they shoot? They shot 31% from the field. Their layups that they normally make, they were missing. Their 3-point shots, they didn't have the rhythm because it felt like they were getting moved. But that is how South Carolina plays. That's their MO. And so overall, you read how the game is going, and sometimes you just have to play knowing that refs don't really call as much at this level.
Yeah, it looked like South Carolina challenged UConn's ball handling, UConn's one-on-one playmaking, and UConn's ability to handle pressure. Yeah. That is what South Carolina was like, we are going to put to the test, and they did it masterfully. What does UConn always do well? They're passing, they're cutting, their movement. They couldn't get any of that. And when you're not used to that level of physicality, everything feels like a foul. Right. But when that physicality is the standard, that is what South Carolina is used to. That's how SEC is every single night. You play through that. I am blown away, one, by South Carolina and what they were able to do defensively to take the excellent sharpshooting of UConn out of the picture. But Agat McKeer, to me, and Tania Latson was phenomenal. We talked about the X factors being transfers and freshmen. We saw that, but I have to go with the freshman. Agat McKeer, her athleticism. We're going to show highlights on the offensive end, and she's fearless on the offensive end. What we're not going to see on these highlights is the way she chased AZ Fudd when she had the ball in her hands, when she didn't have the ball in her hands. That finish in transition, falling under the rim, still able to lift it high. This 3-point shot with Quinones, the confidence from Agat McKeer. But we talked to her earlier this week about her career high when she had 18 points in the regionals, and she said, oh, I expect to play this way. That's how she expects to play. And I'll say this, as we're here in the building of the Phoenix Mercury. The final WNBA game of the season, Kahlia Copper and the Phoenix Mercury fell short. Kahlia Copper put up a 30-piece. Yeah. She was fearless. She was dominant. Even though they lost, Kahlia Copper is Agat McKeer's favorite player. It makes sense the way Agat McKeer plays because of the player that she watches. When you see somebody, you can be somebody. And just the way Agat McKeer was able to play, it all fell together today in this building.
Yeah, I love that because to win at this level, you need stars to show up, of course, but you also need that element of surprise. And Agat McKeer was surprise factor, surprise, surprise. But more importantly, we shouldn't have been shocked. So far, every tournament game off the bench, she's had double figures. She's ascending at the perfect time, averaging around 15 points per game. So we now know she is capable at this moment. But most importantly, y'all, I love how they went back to Joyce Edwards as well. Joyce Edwards, it was not perfect, it was not pretty at times, but it was powerful. You win at this level by rebounding, and they were relentless. That was the separation factor. I said this matchup was going to be about finesse or force. South Carolina is force. They did not finish the way that they normally do, but she was forceful at the basket, at the rim, getting downhill, getting those attempts up. So I was very impressed with Joyce Edwards as well, alongside Agat McKeer.
When are you foul prone? When when you give up offensive rebounds, you're prone to fouling. And when players can get on hips of defenders, South Carolina did both of those things so well.
Yeah, UConn has not been held below 50 points in any game since the 2022 game against South Carolina. That was a loss as well. All right, 62-48, the final there. Coach Don Staley mentioned that Geno Auriemma said something to her post-game about the fact that she didn't shake his hand pre-game. And we want to show you that video really fast. This is the pre-game video.
That's pre-game?
This is pregame. And she did say that she went up and shook everybody's hand on that staff. She didn't know. Maybe Geno remembers it a little bit differently than what we just saw there.
Yeah, or, I mean, you're never going to know what they said to each other. Like, it's loud in here. Who knows? But all that matters really is there was frustration, probably from the game, boiling over as well.
There were a number of miscues. That could be one. And also, Sarah Strong's jersey was a miscue because I know he was mad about that as well.
But she ripped it herself.
Exactly.
So,
precisely.
So it's a lot going on when it's this intense.
Overall, the word is the one that Andrea used earlier. It is tension.
Yeah.
There was a lot of tension in that matchup, and it was a really good one. 62-48 the final. South Carolina with the win. So South Carolina and Dawn Staley will play on Sunday in the national championship game for the 5th appearance for Staley, tied for the 4th most all-time. Only Geno Auriemma, who she just knocked off, of course. Pat Summitt and Muffet McGraw have more.